All right, good morning, guys. We're going to get started with our lesson today. Myself, Mr. Rumbo, and we got Mr. Ardois that's co-facilitating this exercise. And so we're going to be evaluating expressions. So you guys got a little warmed up today this morning. Some of you guys have a little bit of math. And so this is audience participation, so make sure that you guys are working with me. It makes it flow a lot easier, and it's a lot more interesting that way. All right, so I'm going to kind of personalize it because instead of, it starts with an M, I'm going to use Maribel instead. Okay? And it says, Maribel asked, what's 4 plus 6 times 3? So let's take a look at that. Which of these did she make? I want you guys to track with me. She does a better on the lights. Probably pretty good, huh? Okay. Which of these did she mean? Is it the first one? Is it the second one or the third one? What do you guys think? Abel, which one do you think she means by that? First or second? Or maybe neither, I don't know.
The first and second one.
The first and the second one. Okay. So what's the difference between the first and second one?
Usually the second one has parentheses, so it's not, but you're still going to multiply first anyway, so there's not really a difference.
Ah, so is there a way in which we do things first?
Yeah.
Okay. So in your case, what did you come to on that?
PEMDAS.
What is it?
PEMDAS.
PEMDAS. What does PEMDAS stand for?
Parentheses, exponents.
Okay, close. Okay. Exponents. What's M?
Multiplication.
D.
Division.
A.
Addition.
S.
Subtraction.
Awesome, great job, you get an A. All right, so PEMDAS is obviously, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, you guys probably memorized that a long time ago whenever you guys were taught that, right? So you're right, actually there's a way in which we do things, it's called the order of operations, so you're actually ahead of us. So very good. All right, so first, obviously, you're going to evaluate what's in the expressions. First are the expressions within parentheses or other grouping symbols. And you guys have seen these. Parentheses, we have brackets and other ones that you would do first, right? And then you would do the exponents. Obviously, that would be the E and the PEMDAS, obviously. And then you would multiply and then divide, so M and D, obviously, right? And from left to right, and then add and subtract from left to right. You guys knew that, right? How many, you guys know that? Yeah? Okay, very good. And so if you go back to the expression 4 plus 6 times 3, we already know that what Abel had said, we would do, obviously, what first? In this sequence of expressions. What would we do first? Are we going to do the addition or the multiplication? Multiplication, right? Perfect. And then we go back in one. Yeah, right. Perfect. Okay, so we have our expression. Now, does your calculator that you're going to be passed out right now, you're going to be actually working with graphing calculators a lot today. We're not going to be doing any graphing with them, but we're going to be using them. And so we'll do that. Go ahead and pass those out. You can pass them back for me. Very good. And so if you guys can go ahead and turn those on, it's the bottom left, right? We also have a visual up here, and it's the bottom left. You guys go ahead and turn those on. And so I want you guys to go ahead and put the expression 4 plus 6 times 3. I want to see if we actually, if it does order of operations. Does your calculator know order of operations? 4 plus 6 times 3. What was the answer that you guys got? What did you get? 22. Okay. And so if Melinda meant parentheses 4 plus 6 times 3, how could she have said it more clearly then? What do you guys think? This first one actually doesn't have parentheses, but this one does. If she meant parentheses 4 plus 6 times 3, what do you think she could have said more clearly?
4 plus 6 times 3?
Wasn't that the same thing we just said before? It's almost like, think of like in English, there's like words that are transition words. If you want to do something in order, what would you say first?
6 times 3.
Okay, so obviously, are these two the same?
No.
Why not?
Because the parentheses are around the 4 and 6.
So what are you doing first?
The 4 plus 6.
Right, so then you would say first you want to add what? First you want to add?
4 plus 6.
And then,
Multiply by 2.
there you go. That's exactly what we were trying to come to there. So try this. If you added 4 plus 6, we got to when we had the parentheses and when we do the order of operations, What's 4 plus 6? 10. And if you did 10 times 3, what would that be? What is it? 30, right? Is that the same thing as 22? No, so does your calculator do order of operations?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. So that's kind of cool, right? It eliminates a step for you. So even though that you may be jumbled with the idea of order of operations, your calculator does it for you, which is nice. All right, so I want you guys to put in, we're gonna do a little exercise here. I want you guys to put in the 5. I want you guys to start with number 5, put that on your calculator. Okay, if you need to clear previous stuff, you can go ahead and do that first. And then I want you to multiply by 6. Multiply by 6, so if you're doing 5 and then multiplying by 6, right? Okay. And then I want you to add 15 to your answer. Add 15.
So after we multiply, we have to press enter?
Yes, that would actually be, I forgot that. So after it's probably better if you guys start with 5 and then multiply by 6 and then hit enter. And it'll give you the total of what that is. Okay. And then after you do that, add 15, enter. And then divide by 3 and then enter. Okay. And then what you want to do is, whatever your answer is, I want you to subtract that number from 80. So 80 minus whatever it is now. Maribel, what was the numbers that you got for the sequence here? We multiplied by 6, added 15, divided by 3, and then subtracted from 80. What did you get? Did you get the answer? No? 180, what did you get? 65. Frank? Negative 65. Okay. So we got 65. You guys got 65? Okay. Is it negative 65 or positive 65?
Negative.
Okay. So if we subtracting from 80 minus the answer, or your answer minus 80?
Your answer minus 80.
So it would be 80 minus your answer would be, so it's actually 65, right? Okay, good. So let's try it again. So let's start with 14. This time you're going to actually start with 14. Okay. And then you're going to multiply, you're going to go through the same thing. So you're going to start with 14 instead of 5 this time, and you're going to multiply by 6. Enter. Add by 15. So you're going to hit enter every time you do it. Okay, good. Add by 15. Enter, divide by 3. And then you're going to subtract your answer from 80. What did you guys get?
I got negative 47.
Okay. What did you get? And that's exactly what we got as well. So you guys did great. That was awesome. Okay, moving on. So now I want you to do it one other time here. So now we're going to start with a negative number. Do you guys know how to do negative numbers on your graphic calculators? Does anybody know where the negative sign is? It's actually right to the bottom left of the actual enter sign. So if you want to start with the negative first, so you're going to do negative 3, and go back to the top again through the sequence. Multiply by 6. Okay? Hit enter, and then add 15, and enter, and so on and so forth. Okay? What did you get from?
Negative 81.
Oh, we got a couple different answers here. Actually, it's 81.
Yeah.
Did you go back and do it again? It's okay. Did you forget one more step? Oh, you said, I think you said 1. Okay. So you got 81 as well. Perfect. Okay. Well, did you get 81 as well? Awesome. Great. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. Did you guys know that you guys can organize your data into a table? Notice this is kind of what we did. The description is what we did was on the left-hand side. On the right side is how we would do it in algebraic terms, or write our expressions that way. So whenever we don't know a number in algebra, what do we usually use? X or what? Can we use any other number? Or a letter, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
We can use any number, right? And if it's a number, can we use n? Oftentimes we do that, right? So we can replace a number with a letter and try to solve for it, right? So this would be x is what we're going to use in this term, right? And then the next step was what? What was the second step here? Multiply by 6. Did you know, what does a number next to a letter mean in algebra? What is it? is a letter next to a variable mean in algebra?
Multiplication.
Multiplication, good. And so then we have multiplication, and then what's our next step? Add 15, so we're adding 15. And then our next step is divide the result by 3, so whatever our answer is, we divide by 3. And then whenever you get your answer, we do 80 minus whatever your answer was. So it does that in a sequence there, so that is the order of operations. Very good. Okay, are these equivalent expressions? So are they similar in this sense? So we have 3 divided by 2, and then we have 3 over 2 in a fraction. Savannah, are these 2 equivalent fractions?
Yeah,
Why?
because they're just written different, but they're the same.
They're the same? So is this, so this is equivalent to this because this is just another way of writing this? Yes, that is, they are. So if you were to do it on your calculator, 3 divided by 2, you would get an answer, the same answer as the second problem. Very good. Okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say, let's see what it is.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Do 3 divided by 2, and then let's, and maybe some of you guys don't know how to do 3 over 2 on a graphing calculator as a fraction. So that would be, okay, Mr. Ardar, we're going to be doing this B/C button, right? Okay. Do we hit that first or we hit that
You
second?
press second. So hit the 3 and then the B over the C.
Okay.
Just by one. And then the 2.
Okay.
And you can press enter.
So if you do 3 divided by 2 first, you're going to get an answer. And then if you do 3 B/C over 2, do you get the same answer? Yes or no?
I didn't.
No.
You did it.
I got a bunch of sixes.
Okay, so it's a decimal, right?
Oh, look at that. It did something different.
Okay.
So yeah. Try that again. But, yeah, they get different answers. See why they got different answers.
So what did you get? So you got 1.5. What did you guys get in the back? 1.5. So if I wrote this as a whole number, what would it be? Do you guys know? Wouldn't the numerator have to be the same as the denominator to be 1 whole? Is 2 over 2 1 whole? Okay. So then 3 over 2, is that going to be a whole plus more? Do you guys agree with that? Okay. So that's why some of you guys said this one is going to be, this is 1, this is going to be 1.5 because it's actually 1 more past that. So you actually have part of it in that, okay? So it's 1.5. Some of you guys have a decimal, some of you guys actually have it as, I think you did 2 divided by 3 instead of 3 divided by 2. So you divide the top and the bottom, not the bottom and the top. Does that make sense? That's why you got a different answer there. Okay. Very good. All right, very good. Moving on. Okay, what about these? So we have 4 plus 8 divided by 2, and then we have 4 plus 8 divided by 2 here. So this is an expression, that one's actually in a more of a fraction like the other one was. Check these ones and see what those come out to be.
Okay. And when you're doing the second one, to get that line in the beginning, we're going to press the B over C in the beginning.
Okay.
Start with the B over C, and then when you want to get to the bottom, you'll just press the down arrow to get to the bottom.
So they have to put B over C first?
Yeah, when you're going to do an expression on top.
Okay. So in this case, real quickly, what would we do first here? If we were to actually do it on our own, without a calculator, what would we do first, based on the order of operation?
Divide.
Divide. So basically, 8 divided by 2 is what? Good. And then we just have to add 4, right? So the top one, the first one you should have gotten 8, right? Okay, what about if you did this one?
You gotta do 4 plus 8 first.
Okay, so it's going to be 12, right? And then you have to, what does this mean? Divide. So 12 divided by 2?
6.
6. So are those equivalent?
No.
Does 8 equal 6? No. So then it does not, they're not equivalent. So the second one is actually not equivalent. So those are actually not. Very good. All right, moving on to this one. Okay, so sometimes you have to add grouping symbols or parentheses when entering expressions into the calculator. So we're going to show you guys that in a second. So one of the things that we're going to do right now is we're going to do a calculator exercise. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a crossword puzzle to get you guys more used to some of the different, to get used to a graphing calculator. So Mr. Ardwan, we have those ready to go?
Ready to go.
Okay. And so what you're going to do is, guys, you're going to use your calculator to evaluate the expressions. It's good. You guys have done crossword puzzles before. throughout your educational experience, or maybe just for fun. And so these are actually numbered. So the answers are going to actually go across and down. So what you're going to do is you're going to enter the expression into your calculator so that you get the correct answer without having to calculate part of the expression version. Okay? So for answers that are fractions or decimals, you use the answer form indicated. So you're actually going to put those into the actual space. Negative signs, fraction bars, or decimal points occupy one's square space. So if it was like, for example, if it was negative, you put the negative first and then the answer that remains next. Okay? And so what we're going to do is we can probably go over one together, and then so we can get you guys going so you guys can work in groups or your table partners next to you, okay? All right, so if we look at the first one there, and I want you guys to take about 10 minutes or so to kind of do this. And let's do the first one, that's a cross. What does number 1 say, Juanito? Can you read that for us, please?
2 divided by 3 times.
What does of mean in math? In multiplication, right? Good. So 2 over 3, and then we're timesing what? Or multiplying? 159,000. Okay, so I want you guys to do that. Do you guys remember how to do the fractions on your graphing calculator?
After you enter the fraction, you're going to have to press the right arrow to multiply it.
Okay. Did you guys get an answer for the first one? Okay, Abel, what was the answer that you got?
I don't know how to say that, but.
Just read the digits.
Yeah, read the digits.
1, 0, 6, 2, 1, 8.
218?
Yeah.
Okay, so are we putting commas?
Commas don't take up spaces.
Commas don't take up spaces actually on this one, so we're just writing the numbers in there. Okay, so I want you guys to work through the next, you guys can start all the way with the cross and then move over to down, or do down first and go across. It doesn't matter, so go ahead and take about 10 minutes to complete the rest of them. And so definitely kind of adjust your groups where you guys are kind of working next to each other. So if you guys want to work this one. Want to see if you can move your desk this one?
Thank you.
Got a team? All right, guys, I think most of us kind of got the hang of it with the exception of just the fractions. So if you guys can finish up on your last one, I want you guys to check your answers, okay, what you guys got so far, all right? And we're going to show you right here. Does that look like some of the answers that you guys got? Some of you guys with number 6 across was a little bit difficult. It seemed like the denominator was the same on some of you. I think you guys had the numerator a little bit different. There was a decimal on this one, right? 10 down. I don't know if you guys got that far on some of you. 10 down. Okay. Just check your answers there. Okay, you guys fill those in. If you did, just fill in the rest of them. Which one of these gave you guys the most difficulty?
All of them.
Not all of them. You actually were doing. You give yourself more credit than that. What we're going to do is we're going to still use our graphing calculators, guys. If you guys can kind of move on to the next thing here real quick for number tricks. Do you guys know there's a little bit of magic in math? Do you guys know? A little bit of magic. You guys know, are there patterns in math?
Yes.
Patterns, ways we do things, right? Okay, well, we're going to do something. This is what I want you to do. I want you to pick a number, any number you want. Clear out your old stuff on your calculator. Just clear it out. I want you guys to pick a number. Any number. You pick your favorite number. You can pick your old softball number, or your baseball number, football number, whatever. Pick it. Put it in your calculator. And don't tell me what it is. And then what I want you to do is, I want you, obviously remember we're hitting enter every time you do an operation, so we want you to add 9 to your number. So add 9. Do it on your graph calculator.
That's not one of those weird Facebook tricks, isn't it?
Yeah, you never know. Can't reveal, a magician never reveals his secrets, right? Okay. Alright, so we add 9 to it. Okay. And then obviously enter after you do the operation. So we have your number. So let's say you pick 12. Then you would add 9, enter. And then the next thing you're going to do is multiply your answer by 3. And then hit enter. And then you're going to subtract 6 from your answer. So you're hitting enter every time you. Okay. So going back to your number that you got, add 9, multiply by 3, and then subtract 6 from your answer. Okay? And then you're going to divide your answer by 3. Divide your answer by 3. What'd you guys get?
21.
21. What'd you get? 21.
15.
No, seems still working on yours? So you're gonna minus.
I think there are a few more steps.
Okay, then we got one more step. Okay, then we're gonna subtract your original number. I missed this step on that. Subtract your original number, or whatever your original number was, from your answer. What did you get?
Wait, what?
Subtract your original number?
Subtract your original number. So whatever your original number is, you're gonna subtract it, your original number. So let's say if your answer was 12, you're gonna subtract it. Okay. What'd you guys get? 7.
7.
Boom, you guys got 7. So what number did you pick?
8.
What'd you pick?
8.
What'd you pick? 23. What'd you pick?
14.
What'd you pick? 14? How did you guys get all 7? It's magic. So there's actually some number tricks in math. So we're going to figure out through an investigation that we're going to work with our groups. Okay, we'll do it together as well. And so we'll be passing those out shortly. And so there's going to be a couple different steps on how we are going to kind of discover what these number tricks are. And so we're going to kind of follow the same steps or sequence of how we kind of arrive to that answer that no matter what number you picked, you actually arrived at the same number, which was 7. Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to enter this, put this into a list, all right? Instead of going to the list button, we're just going to go from the home screen and put it into a list. And in order to do that, we need to put these bracket things. So to get to the brackets, press second. Everyone press second. And then see the PRGM, the program button. It's going to take us to the catalog. So second PRGM has like a ABC thing on it and everything. Press the, got that? There you go. Second.
So we got the yellow second, and then program right there. And
Second. Okay. All right. PRGM. All right. Now press the up arrow. Press the up arrow. Keep going, and eventually you're going to get to this little open bracket. Okay. And there's a difference between the brackets and the parentheses. You'll see a parentheses is just smooth, right? Smooth opening. The bracket has like a little divot coming out. When you get to the open bracket, press enter. Okay, press enter. Yep. On that little bracket, that open bracket. Open up top. Okay.
And then the brackets. And then arrow up one. You gotta find those brackets.
Okay.
Parentheses. Keep going.
So now you can enter in the rest of this list.
There's
So
the
the
start.
20 and then comma is right. Where is it?
That's
Next to the 4.
And then we go to starting one.
Then with the 20 comma right next to the 4. 1.2 comma.
Good.
Which is next to the 4.
So when we finish all those numbers,
Oh, shoot. Yes.
Okay.
okay, cool.
Okay.
And then the comma is right there.
5. No. Comma 4. Okay. And oh, it seems like everyone knows where to get this last bracket. It's close symbol.
Good.
Is that it? Okay, so that's the second.
Close it. And do they need to enter after they've closed all the
No, do not press enter.
Don't hit enter.
So let's store it though. This little arrow means that we're going to store all this information into list 1. Does anyone see something that could be a store button on there? Store.
Arrow up.
Store. It's this little arrow down here.
There.
Okay, let's try that one. So push the store button. Gives you the arrow.
Okay. And then from here, what you need to do is.
Okay, got a store. All right, we want to get it into list 1. So that's a. We're gonna press. We need to go to the statistics menu. So press second and then the list. Second and list. And so you gave us all the L1, L2, press enter for L1, go back.
When I put that, we're gonna store that on this side, hit enter down here. Oops. There you go. Perfect.
Second.
Nice. List. Did you guys get it?
And press enter to get this one.
Good. It should say L1 there.
L1, you got it, L1?
Okay, we're gonna do this. Press the store.
Cool. Alright, but once you got the arrow L1, press enter, so it'll store it in list 1.
I
Okay,
think we've completed step.
everyone's got
Step 1 good?
Press enter, good. Alright, Mr. Romo, you can read them in the rest.
Step 2. Okay, so obviously what we're gonna do is we've already inputted our data, and so we're gonna tell the calculator operations you want done. So step 2 is, how is the last operation different from that one? Okay, so I believe on this one we're gonna do is, we're gonna follow this, okay, Mr. Ardoin? On this one, we're gonna add, that one I think, let's see.
Okay.
We're gonna follow this sequence, correct? Add 9, multiply by 3, subtract 6, and divide by 3. I think it's the same thing that we did before.
Yep, follow those same steps.
Okay, so, all right, guys, so we've already entered all our list in L1, so what we're gonna do is, with your answer, you hit enter after there, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add 9 to that. So we'll go ahead and add 9 to your set of data. Good, awesome. So, how is the last operation different from all the others? What did you guys notice? How was the last operation different than all the other ones? Do you guys notice any difference? So if we added 9 here, what are we doing? So we're doing addition here, what is the difference from the last one? You guys remember in algebra, like before, when you do the inverse of something? What's the inverse mean? Opposite. So if we're adding here, what are we doing here? Okay, so we know that it's the opposite, adding it and subtracting, right? Good. Very good. And so let's move down to step number 3. So number tricks like this work because certain operations such as multiplication and division get undone in the course of the trick. So if you add something and if you go around and subtract it, right, it undoes it, right? Okay, so if I add 3 and then I turn around and subtract 3, does it undo it? Yes, it does. So if I add multiply by 3 and I go back and divide by 3, does it undo it? So let's move down to step number 4. One way to analyze what is happening in a number trick is to translate the steps of the trick into an algebraic expression. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to return to the description at the beginning of this investigation and write an algebraic expression. Okay, so we're moving down to the box in the bottom right. Okay, so we're on this step number 4. You guys remember when you started with a number here, Juanita? You started with a number in the beginning, right? Okay. And then we added 9, so we use x plus 9. Times 3. Okay.
You want to fill it in?
Yeah, I want you guys to fill it in as I fill it in on the board. So we're multiplying by 3 here, right? So the way we would write that, guys, if we started with our number and then we added 9, what we do if we want to multiply by the next one, which is multiply by 3, we put parentheses around and put 3 on the outside. So if we want to multiply everything by 3, we put in parentheses and then put a 3 on the outside. What does a number next to a set of parentheses mean? What does a number next to a set of parentheses mean?
Multiplication.
Multiplication, so that's why they put it around it and put a 3 on the outside. Good. So if we do the next one, if we want to subtract by 6, how would we subtract by 6 on this one? How do you think we'd write the expression here?
Replace the 6 or put a 6 in front of it. Forget, isn't that what we want?
Okay, we're still using this, but what if we wanted to subtract 6 from this? How would we write that?
Oh, it was behind the.
A 6 in front of 3? Let's see. Again, we're almost done. All right, so if we have 3, so we're going to take our answer, whatever we got, and we subtract 6 from it, right? And then our next step was to divide our answer by 3. So how would we write that? How would we write that? If we multiplied by 3, subtract 6, and we divide by 3. How would we do that? How would we write that?
all of it by
The whole answer by
or by 3.
Put it as a fraction. Fraction.
Boom, there you go. Nice. So what you do, you turned it into a fraction and divided the whole thing by 3.
Very well, good job reinforcing.
Those two, you gotta watch out for those two, right? Okay.
I know, my brain is just saying no.
And if we wanted to subtract our original answer, okay, if you want to subtract your original answer, original number,
All I can't fit in my box.
if you need to on the right side, you can write it on the right side. Draw an arrow right on the back if you need to. Okay, so if you wanted to subtract your original number by this, what do we do here? So then what do you think? Would it be over here or over here? Okay, very good. So whatever that number was, you would subtract it from wherever that is, right? So minus x would be the last part there. Okay. So we have your number. You add your number to 9. Parentheses, if you want to multiply, you can put the whole thing in parentheses and multiply by 3. And then put 6. And then fraction, divide by 3, and then subtract your original number there. Very good. Okay, so what I want to do is I want you guys to pick another number here real quick. Pick another number, go to your graphing calculator real quick. Pick a different number other than one that you picked before.
Oh, okay.
And then I want you to add 3 to it. I want you to add 3 to it after that.
Change the mark.
Yeah, any number.
Any number?
Any number you want.
Positive, fraction, decimal.
Just don't make it 1,579,253. Don't make it one. Well, you can do that one if you want, but it's going to be really hard. Okay, add 3 to it.
Add 3. Make sure press enter.
Enter after it, right? Okay. And then multiply your result by 2. Enter. And then you subtract 4 from your answer. And then you divide this answer by 2.
Alright, hold on a second. They're trying to catch up over.
Okay, let me go back.
No, we're good. You can leave it, but
Very good.
they're just entering it. You got the subtract 4 and the divide by 2.
Subtract 4 and then divide your answer by 2.
Divide by 2.
And subtract your original number on that one. That last step is to subtract your original number.
What's your number? Is that the last step or is it?
That is the last. Oh, then add 2.
Yeah, okay.
Then add 2.
There you go.
And what did you guys get? Frankie, what'd you get? Huh?
3.
3? Abel? 4.
What?
What'd you get?
3.
Error.
Ah.
Error.
Error. Error.
Usually it says error go to, so it'll tell you where you made an issue.
Okay, so we added 3. Multiplied by 3. Subtracted by 4. Divided by 2. Your original number was 200. And then subtract your answer from the original number. Okay. And then did you add 2 to it? You forgot to add 2. Add 2. You should have gotten 3. Did you guys get 3?
No.
What did you get?
Yes, they did.
Yes, you did. No, you just
I
gave me
got 4 and 3/4.
Okay. I would try that again on a different one just to make sure that we follow that step. So we should have taken your number and then followed the steps. Because basically, what did you guys notice? Did you guys notice a pattern that's happening here? Have you caught on to the trick yet?
Yeah.
What's the trick?
Adding, multiplication, subtraction.
So if you're adding, what are you going to do down here?
Huh?
If you're going to add, you're going to what?
I don't know.
What undoes adding?
Oh, subtraction.
And what undoes multiplication?
Division.
Division. Okay, good. You guys have caught on to the trick. Okay, let's move down to step number 5, which is on the back. You guys are almost done with the investigation.
That's the number trick we just did.
It is on. Okay.
Yeah, you'll want to.
Okay, so we're looking at this. And so what we're going to do is you're going to use this method in the table to help you figure out why your number trick works. We kind of already figured it out. Okay, so if we look at this, we pick our number. How would we write that as an expression? I want you to help me out.
Huh?
If you pick a number. Is everybody's number the same?
No.
So what we play if we're trying to figure it out?
X.
Boom, there you go. Okay. So then we have x. But then we're going to add 3. So this shows us that we're going to add 3 to whatever number that is, because there's 3 pluses there.
Okay.
I forgot it doesn't go this side first.
Yeah, no, it's description first.
Okay, we're doing the description first. What are we going to do on the next step? If you guys look at this side where it shows in picture form, what do you think we're going to do here?
Add 6.
Well, did the long number get larger or smaller here? From here to here? Huh? Okay, so instead of adding, what do you think they're doing?
Subtracting.
Getting larger.
What?
If the number from here to here is getting larger, right?
So see how this picture has
Multiplying.
3 ones, and now we have
6.
6 ones?
There you go.
Zero.
What do you multiply by?
2.
Boom, you got it.
Ooh, watch out.
Booyah.
I'm sick. You have to die.
Okay, so from this step, so we went from 6 down back to
Divided.
2, so I want to make sure everybody gets this. Will you see that? It goes from, we multiplied by 2 to get this, right? And from here to here it got larger or smaller?
Smaller.
So instead of, or what are we going to do here from here to here then? Are we going
Divided.
to divide by,
No.
what do you think we're dividing by?
2. No, 4.
Actually, we could have been subtracting 2. So we could either subtract or divide to get smaller, right? But in this case, we're subtracting by 4. Okay. Then maybe division on this one, we'll see. So from the same, from here we got 2, so we got 1, 2, and then from here to here, what do you think we're doing to get to 1? Are we gonna divide, multiply? Right, just getting smaller. So we subtracted, so we added, multiplied, subtracted, and then we're getting smaller even more. What do you think we're gonna get? By 2, right? Because 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay? And then obviously, so we subtract our original number, then we're gonna add by 2, and then multiply by 3 and all that stuff. Okay? So either or would have been good on that one. Now, Juanita, let's go back to the original expressions on here. Boom, or n. Or n as a number.
I like X better.
Okay, then you put x.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
If
Okay.
I put an O.
Sure. You can put J for the first letter of your name.
Oh,
Doesn't
let's
matter.
not like 0. So you kind of want to stay.
Yeah, unless you put a slash through your 0. That would get confusing after a while. Okay, so on the next one, let's do, what about 2? If we're going to add 3 to this number, what do we put? 3n? That's multiplication, right? So if we want to add 3 to this, what do we do? So that is already kind of moving ahead, or would you put? So
No.
if you're adding 3 to this, what would you do? N plus 3, simple as that. N plus 3, right? What if you want to multiply by 2? Frankie, what do you think?
2
2 parentheses, so you're going to put 2 and then parentheses. Good job. Awesome.
He said your letter, I like that. So it could be any letter.
Your letter.
Good point, Very good.
And then now we're going to subtract by 4. Mary, I want to hear from you. If we're going to take this and subtract, I did. She just told you this is audience participation. 2 parentheses n plus 3. How would we subtract that from 4? We're subtracting 4 from that. What do you think?
When you write this,
What do you write? What it looks
Savannah.
It looks something like this. Minus 4. Just a simple minus 4 after that. Okay. What about if we wanted to divide by 2, Abel, on the next step?
Would you divide your answer?
How would we do that? How would we write that? What's another way of writing division, in other words?
I know.
You said it earlier, but I want Abel to kind of see if you can hear
No,
it.
Abel.
Would you say 200?
How would you, what would you write first? Yes. Good. So the next step, 180, is that what you're going to say?
Yes.
You're going to do the fraction bar and then 2.
Don't worry about it.
And then what about subtracting the original number? What do we do now? We want to subtract your original number. Okay. So that looks like this is an n right here, or whatever letter you pick, like Frankie said, right? So minus n. And then the last step, we can either add 2 or multiply by 3. So we have 2 different options here. And so it's on the next page here. This is if you were, this is just a continuous, right? And then you could write it either by minusing the number, adding 2, or, this is getting really fancy, putting brackets around it and multiplying by 3. These are like people that speak kind of like Spanglish in English, and this is kind of like if you're like hardcore, like down in the book grammar.
Oh, see, yeah, I'm like right there.
Yeah, that's too much work.
You're putting brackets around all of that set of numbers. Okay. Good.
Okay. I'm tired.
All right. We're almost done, guys. Okay, we're gonna get you guys going. So I want you guys real quickly. Are these equivalent? These 2 expressions here?
Yes.
Okay, Maribel, you're the first answer.
Oh my God.
I appreciate it. Are these 2? Well, you said yes. Why are they? I want to hear what's in your head. Not like what you're going to Snapchat after school.
Yeah.
Just tell me what's going on about this problem. You're absolutely right, but why? What's the difference between
There's a negative 4.
So you have subtracting 4, and then what are you doing here? Is subtracting 4 and adding a negative 4 the same?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, they are. And so is there any difference inside parentheses here? No, so yes.
Isn't it like same switch?
Yeah. Keep change flip.
What, so if you have hot and cold cubes, right?
There you go.
You put in 3 cold cubes, right? And then what'd you do? Taking out 4 what? Hot cubes, okay. Took out hot cubes. What happens when you take out hot cubes? It gets colder, cool. How about here? You put in 3 hot and now you're adding 4 cold. What happens when you add cold?
It
It gets colder. So,
The equation right there.
If you look at the first one, the first example here, how would you write 23 minus parentheses x minus 9 divided by 5? How would you write that without a subtraction sign? Give it a shot. What did you guys do? This group over here, Juanita, your guys' group, what did you guys do?
Whoa, my first did was wrong.
Okay. Explain what the first process was. What was the first process?
Okay. The right way or the wrong way?
What did you come up with first?
I did division, but I don't know why I did that. I don't know why. Okay.
And then what did you go back and how did you not use subtraction on this?
23 plus negative 3.
So if you're taking out 3 or adding 3, cold cubes is the same as that, right? So this should have been the way of what you just did. So you're instead of taking out 3, you're adding 3 cold cubes into the pot there. If I can turn this. So I gotta unpick a little bit. Okay. Very good. Awesome. Okay, so thinking of subtraction as addition of negative numbers, many calculations can be easier. So if we describe the steps of this expression, okay, and so we can do this. Okay, so we're going to pick a number.
Okay.
We're just gonna explain the process. We're going to pick a number which is what?
X.
Good. Adding 2.
Okay.
So we add 2, right?
Let's do.
Good. And then what do we do in order to multiply that by 3?
A bracket and with parentheses.
Parentheses. Good. And then now what? From that point, we got this, don't we?
Okay, yeah.
So we have this and then that way. Very good. So what do we do next?
Subtract.
Press enter, yeah, you can press enter. Okay. But from that point, what do you do?
Subtract, right?
what are we subtracting?
I think it's 5.
Okay.
And then after.
So from that point, okay, go ahead, Joe.
Okay, this is a grouping symbol, right? Okay, this is a grouping symbol, so it says do everything on top first, and then do everything on the bottom, and then divide those 2 answers. So we're still up here. We did this stuff. You said subtract, but what are we subtracting from what? 5 minus whatever that answer was, right? Because we already multiplied by 3. So it'd be 5 take away. Remember we were doing that 80 minus, or take away from 80? We were putting the wrong one. We're doing it backwards and we get like a negative a lot of the time.
What?
So we need to take that 80 or the 5 and subtract that answer from 5. We're subtracting from 80 like we did. So subtract from 5. Right? Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
Why would it be 5 minus 3 instead of 3 times the parentheses?
We did do the 3 times the parentheses right here.
Oh, okay.
And now we're taking that answer, everything that whatever we got, that result, and subtracting it from 5.
Okay, and then obviously the last one was what? Divided by 3 and then add your original number. Okay.
So you went backwards.
Okay, so we're gonna get you guys going on your classwork assignments, so we're gonna pass those out.